Blame the woman syndrome. Yeah, that's it. Welcome to Change the Conversation with the Hopefulist. My name is Wendy McClure, and it's time we had a conversation about living in a patriarchy and how that affects our lives. Together, we can make a difference and change the conversation. Welcome back to Change the Conversation with the Hopeless. I am so grateful that you are here. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about when women are done, because we are all experiencing this blame the woman syndrome. And what this is all about is the fact that women are wrong no matter what they do, that we can't win no matter what happens. So imagine a day when women aren't blamed for every little thing that happens. Imagine a day when you wake up in the morning and you know that people aren't going to be scrutinizing you, your every decision, your every move, and you get to just wake up in the morning and be and do and say and feel, and that you're not constantly under these expectations that you have to do everything exactly right, or you're going to feel the wrath. And part of this is the societal thinking and expectation that we have had placed on women for decades and centuries, is that we are in charge of all of these things. When it comes to our place in the home, we're in charge of making sure that our man is taken care of, that we defer to him, that the children come first, the husband comes first, we come last, and then we get the title of being selfless, which is a good thing in society. Society wants women to be selfless. You know why? Because it benefits everyone in society except women. So we've been trying to balance this line forever. And I'm here to tell you, there is no line. There's no line. There's no way that you can straddle between good and bad. There's no way that you can be one thing without being the other thing that is just as bad. There is no balance. So what I do when I talk about this week in, week out, it's about changing the conversation in the words that we use and the actions that we have and the rules, quote unquote, that we follow need to change. That they are skewed to make us fail regardless of what we do. And I'm going to get more into this, but what I want you to focus on is the day that we can wake up as a man wakes up each day, knowing that he just has to do what it is that is expected of him. And still in today's society, men are expected to provide. It's the 3 Ps: provide, procreate, and protect. And again, everybody has to provide. We all need money to survive in this world. And most of us need to have 2 incomes to survive in this world. And even then, it's still a struggle. So men are not the only ones that are providing anymore. Women are providing outside the home to bring in money as well as the men are. Women are also, the majority of women are working inside the home, more so than their male counterparts. They are the ones who keep the house in order, who do the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry. Now, of course, this is not in every case, but the majority of cases, women still do most of the domestic labor, which has never gotten any sort of value in this society. However, if you take away the free domestic labor, where does that leave men? That leaves them with having to hire somebody to clean the house, having to hire somebody to take care of the kids, or maybe they don't get to have kids because they don't have somebody that will just do all of this stuff for free anymore. So maybe the option of having kids is no longer an option for them if society continues to place no value on work that isn't done inside the home. So this is what I mean when I say, I imagine, and I want you to imagine, a day when you can wake up as a man and go about your day knowing that everything in your life, except for work, is taken care of. The house is taken care of. The kids are taken care of. The cooking is taken care of. The cleaning is getting done. The laundry is getting done. All of those things. And all you have to do is go to work and manage to not get fired. That's your role. Because let's just take away protection now, because we know that's no longer the case. Protection was back when we needed protection from saber-toothed tigers and bears in the woods and all kinds of other scenarios that just don't exist anymore. Most of the time now, what we need protection from is other men. So they're promising to protect us from a species that they are contributing to. The way that men think about women, the way that men treat women, the way that men don't stick up for women that they don't know. You know, this all came out last summer when a woman was punched in the face by a guy when she refused to give out her phone number, and she started screaming at the 4 or 5 guys that sat there and watched that happen. She's like, why didn't you do anything? And they're like, that's not my business, not my business. And we all thought when we started talking about this on social media that the guys would be like, oh, yeah, those guys were wrong. Yeah, those guys should have stepped up. But they didn't. In fact, they went the opposite direction. They said that, why would I put myself in danger for a woman I don't even know? Why would I do that? That was the predominant response in that discussion. So you're afraid of confronting the man who has just violently harmed a woman, but we're supposed to be okay with going out by ourselves, by not having somebody to protect us. You know, this is twofold. One, you do it because it's the right thing to do. You do it because, yeah, as you like to point out so often, you're bigger and you're stronger. And so protect us. But you don't want to do that because you're scared of the same men who have just assaulted a woman. So you're not protecting us. In fact, you're keeping up the culture of the progression of how this continues to happen. And the procreation, I'm just, I don't care about procreation when it comes to the men. There is nothing on the line for them when it comes to procreating. In fact, it's all fun. They enjoy it immensely. They are constantly wanting more and more and more opportunities to not necessarily procreate, but have the opportunity to procreate. So stop acting like that's some sort of, big goal for men. That's something that's, they're in charge of, and it's just really big job for them. It's not. It's BS. It's men having sex, which is what they like to do over and over and over again. It's the women that actually procreate. It's the women that grow babies, house babies, delivers babies, then takes care of babies, children, teenagers into adulthood. Again, is that the case with every couple? Absolutely not. Is it the case in the majority of couples in this country? Absolutely. So I want you to think about how your husband gets out out of bed every day, or your brother gets out of bed every day, or your father gets out of bed every day and has no concerns in this world. Just, I got to go to work. I got to make some money. I'm going to go home. I'm going to hand it over to the wife sometimes so she can pay the bills. Now, oftentimes when men won't hand over the task of bill paying, it's because they want to be in charge of it. When I got married, I wanted to be in charge of paying the bills merely for the fact of I am a control freak and I need to know what's going on. I would never be able to just hand him the bills and assume that everything's going to be taken care of. Not because I don't think he can do it, just that I know that I will do it. And I don't know when he'll do it, when I'll get around to doing it, if he'll do it on time, if he'll make every payment that needs to be paid. I don't know any of that. And that wouldn't matter who the person was. That's my control freakness. And that's on me. But I dealt with that problem by being the one to do that task. And oftentimes men won't turn over that task because they want to be the one to know everything that's going on. Sometimes they're also using money for things they don't want their wives to know about, like gambling or going out to bars and spending a lot of money, all kinds of things that they may not want their wife to know about, just like the women get a bad rap from shopping. Oh, if the husband ever knew about the Amazon account. And I hear the guys make the comments all the time. Yeah, I got home from work. There's yet another Amazon box there. Yeah. Well, then, say something. If you think it's an issue, say something. Don't just complain to your buddies. Don't just make a big deal about it to everybody else in your life and not say anything to your wife. Do something. Say something. So men who want to control the money are okay because it's their money, even when it's not really all of their money. We know that by sheer fact of not only are a lot of couples two-income households, but even when a woman doesn't work outside the home, she doesn't get any value or pay for the work she does inside the home. And these are the things that really need to change, because when we wake up in the morning, after these things start to change, it doesn't even have to change overnight because it never will change overnight. But once they even start to change, women are going to have so much less stress. They're going to have so much more freedom of mind to actually do things that they want to do, that bring them happiness. Maybe the reason that it's so this big joke that women have this Amazon problem, it's the only way we can shop. It's the only way we can sit down and take a few moments online. We can't even go out shopping anymore. Who has time for that? So yeah, maybe it's just a few moments of delight, of pleasure that women get when they get to order something from Amazon. And if somebody's got a shopping problem, that's a whole different story. But women are in charge of doing everything. And they don't get a moment to do what they want to do because there's too much going on. There's the kids, there's the house, there's work, there's the husband, there's the planning of the activities, there's the taking to practice, there's the holidays that need to be planned, the vacations that need to be planned, the doctor's appointments that need to be, kids dropped off, husband has to go, you have to make the appointment for him because men notoriously will not go to the doctor unless you absolutely force them to. Women are in charge of all of this, and I always go back to this. This is a CEO position. That's what women are doing. They are keeping the corporation of their family unit running. And we all know how much CEOs of corporations get paid. It is a lot of money because it is a lot of responsibility. It is a lot of tasks and duties that need to be done each and every day to make sure that each and every aspect of the corporation, of the family, runs efficiently. Yeah, it's really that simple. But women have never gotten any value for the work they do inside the home. So I want you to just try and imagine what it would feel like to wake up as a man who really only has one responsibility left in this society, which is to provide. And that's only partial at this point. We know that. And not have to worry consistently about all of the other things that need to be done. That you could wake up and not know where your child's school is. That you could wake up and not know the name of your child's doctor. That you don't need to know how much things are at the grocery store because you don't even know where the grocery store is because you never have to go there. Imagine if your life was like that. Because that's how many men's lives are. And obviously somebody has to do some of this work. But if men did a little bit more, women could do a little bit less and actually enjoy their lives a little bit more. Wouldn't that be amazing? Amazing. So this blame the woman syndrome, that is. What does that look like? Well, that women are to blame no matter what they do. So we can't win no matter what. For example, if we make ourselves up to look nice, we do the hair, we do the makeup, we put on nice clothes, we are then taking too long to get ready. We know this old adage, oh, she's always late, it always takes her an hour, 2 hours to get ready. It's crazy. And we're high maintenance on top of that. But if we don't make ourselves up, if we don't go all out, then we aren't even trying. We're not even trying. If we wear sexy clothes, we're asking for it. If we don't, then we're homely. And I am tired of trying to balance a line that does not exist. There is no line. You are one or you are the other. And you cannot find the in-between because there is no between. Society has made that so. There is no in-between because women are the scapegoats. Women are the ones who are called out and blamed for every situation. Let me go further. Women are to blame when men are entitled who don't pitch in around the house. Well, blame his mother. His mother's the one that did that. Okay, let's look at it from a different angle. Could it be that they saw their father never do anything to pitch in around the house, and that's what they were conditioned to believe it's supposed to be? Because I think that scenario is a lot more likely. You know, the more responsibility we put on men, the more put upon they feel. You know, men of my generation did grow up a lot where the men didn't have to do any of the household and domestic labor. None. So when they're being asked to pitch in, they feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. Well, my father didn't have to do it. Why do I have to do it? Well, you don't have to do it, but you also don't have to be married and living with your children. Things are changing. The world is changing. Women have been the scapegoats for decades and centuries, and women are not going to continue to tolerate it. We're done. We are tired of being set up to fail, and you can either get on board with that and continue to be in a happy, satisfied, fulfilling relationship, or you can do it all yourself. You can do the house cleaning. You can do the cooking for yourself. You can do your own laundry and see your kids on every other weekend. or joint custody. And then you still have to feed them, get them clothes, get them to school, what have you. So you're going to have to do the work regardless. So wouldn't it be more beneficial even to men to just start being better husbands, to pull their fair share? Because that's not really asking for much. It's just not. Another thing that really bothers me a lot is when women are referred to as having daddy issues. Oh, well, she's got some major daddy issues. Now, we say this as if this is a poor reflection on that particular woman. Oh, man, she has daddy issues. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't that be a reflection of her father? Shouldn't that be a reflection of the fact that her father wasn't good at fathering her? So let me ask you this. If a woman has daddy issues, whose fault is that? Seriously. A lot of women have issues of abandonment because of the relationships they've had with their father. How is that the child's fault? How is that the woman that grows up out of a situation like that, how is that her fault? I'm going to tell you, it's not. But that's what this society does. It twists and turns all situations to be the fault of the woman, no matter what. And that is one of the most perfect examples that I can give. You know, when it comes to how we dress and, you know, all of this stuff, men are the ones that objectify women. Men are the ones who make sex sell. And when women dress sexy to try to get the attention of a male, well, that's wrong too. But if you don't dress in an appealing way, well, then don't complain if you're alone for your entire life. Do you see what I mean? There's no line. There is no line to balance. You are one or the other. Speaking of which, couple of news pieces I wanted to share with you. There is a video that came out this week of a pastor, very older gentleman, and I use the term gentleman loosely, with apparently a very prominent congregation, very large congregation, who said this week, maybe last, that he can't believe how many women he sees wearing shorts. And I don't know if he means in church or in the world in general. But he said, back in my day, women wore dresses and sometimes pants. But now they're wearing shorts. And I can tell you this, that if that woman gets assaulted and I'm on the jury, I'm going to set that man free. Because what do you expect? Men will be men. This is what he says in 2024. He said, I know that you don't like it, but I'm right for wearing shorts. Shorts. There's no line. Absolutely no line. I will briefly mention the Alabama ruling that has gotten a lot of news coverage this week, which I am so grateful for. The more the news covers stuff, the more outrage that we show, the more that we can do something about all of these atrocities that are happening to women. Of course, if you haven't heard, the Alabama Supreme Court has deemed that frozen embryos are children, and they will be treated as such. They've not been implanted anywhere. They specifically said it does not matter what their location is. And I personally believe that one of the reasons that they're going to this extreme is because they're trying to prove that fertilization is the point of life. That when the egg is fertilized, that is when it becomes a baby. Not when the woman grows it, houses it, lets it use all of its organs to sustain its life. Not the woman that feeds it through the food that they ingest. The exhaustion that they go through from the taxing of their organs. No, none of that matters because it's the man who fertilizes the egg. What they are trying to do, and I know that you're going to think that this is a reach, and a couple of years ago I would have agreed with you, but now I know too much. They're trying to take women out of the equation. Women are the bearers of life, and there's been no way they could get around that for centuries. There's just no way they could get around it because it's true. It's a fact. Women are the bearers of life. We grow the baby. We do everything that we need with our bodies to grow the baby. And then we deliver the baby in excruciating pain most of the time. And there was just no way they could get around that we were an important part of that equation. This is how they get around it. They don't need us to call them children. They're already children when they're fertilized in a petri dish. Therefore, it doesn't matter what the woman's job is. It's already a child. And like I said, just sit with that for a little bit. Just think about it. Starts to make sense after you think about it for a little while. We have been conditioned and trained to take the status quo and shed anything that doesn't line up with that. And this, of course, does not line up with that. But we're smarter now. We see through all the BS. We now know there is no line. There is one or the other, right or wrong. And a lot of the things that we've been told our entire lives are lies. Lies made up to keep us in line, to keep the human race running the way society wants it to run. That's it. So keep in mind that this blame the woman syndrome is not going anywhere until we start to call it out. Until we say, no, that's BS. No, that's not how it's going to continue to be. We have to be the ones to call it out. And we have to realize that none of this is our fault. That we were set up to fail. That there's no way we couldn't not fail in this society. No matter what we do, if we stay at home with the kids and take care of everything in the house, and then you want some money for something, well, you don't make any money. What? Why should I hand over my money to you? And, God forbid you get divorced. Yeah. Oh, well, just go get a job. Yeah, you'll go get a job starting at minimum wage when your husband's been working for 30 years at a position and makes 6 figures. And you're expected to start out at a, $15 an hour job and take care of 3 kids. But if you do go to work, if you do contribute to the family income, then you're not a good mother. You aren't there for your kids. We can't be right no matter what we do. So know that this is not your fault, that we have been set up to fail, and it has worked. It is still working. And we need to be the ones to call it out. We need to be the ones to make the change, to change the conversation around this syndrome, around the problems in this world that let men off scot-free and women to take all of the fall. We've gotten mixed messages our whole life. We are set up to fail. So move forward with this knowledge that we have been set up to fail. And always remember, there is no line. A couple years back, I remember, it's a balance, it's a balance, it's a balance. There's no balance because there's no line. You're either right or you're wrong. It's just really that simple. So I want you to move forward with this knowledge and learn to ignore the remarks. Ignore the expectations. Ignore the judgments. And yes, is this difficult? Extremely difficult. I know. I'm going through it right now. But you need to do what feels right for you. And the way that you do that, and you get to a point where you start to learn to ignore the remarks, the expectations, and the judgments, is to do what's best for you. And with that comes courage and confidence and the ability to live for yourself as everybody else does. And if you need help with that, I offer empowerment coaching where we talk about how you need courage to build your confidence, how you need to do things and take action to make things better in your life. That sitting around in your comfort zone will never get you the life that you desire to live. And that you are strong enough to stand up and say, enough, no more. So please check out those options at hopefulist.com. Feel free to shoot me an email at thehopefulist1@gmail.com or at any of my social media accounts. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. You can find me everywhere, okay? You can find me on Twitter too, but I don't really check Twitter, X. I'm not going to call it X because you can't just change the name of something. So what Elon says about transgender, you can't just become something else. I'm not going to call you a him when you're really a her. Well, I'm not going to call you X when you're really Twitter. Right? Right. Okay. So I want you to go on out there. I want you to be badass. And I want you to know I'm always here cheering you on. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. Together, we are better. Please visit my website at hopefulist.com and remember to hit that subscribe or follow button.